Oh, this is another top 5 beer, man. Anything, particularly Schlenkerla Rauchbier, also from Bamberg, which is in Bavaria. Here's the beer. Look at this, okay? The Marsen version. The Urbach is a little stronger, a little creamier. But both these beers, when you pop the top and you pour it, it smells. People say it smells like bacon. It smells smoke. It's very smoky. You can smell it. Okay, and they make other variations too of this beer. This, like I said, this is one of my top 5 beers, man. This is no joke, Schlenkerla, and you find this readily. You find this in any beer distributor or beer store that has any foreign beer. You will find this. It's amazing how good this beer is, man. I recommend it. Duvel, which is Flemish for the devil, right? Duvel it's a weird beer. It's a very strange beer. You drink it. It seems like it's light. It has a funky taste to it, which is actually not bad. Okay, but this thing is the devil, right? The devil. This thing will knock the hell out of you. I remember the 4-pack. I drank the whole 4-pack once, and I was hungover, man. Seriously, very interesting beer. Okay. Apparently, the base yeast of this, which was taken, was from a bottle of Scotch ale that a bunch of Scottish soldiers left somewhere in Flanders from the First War. And the descendants of that yeast strain continue to do their magic. Oh, Hackashore, Oktoberfest Marsen. This actually, Paulina is really good too. This might be my favorite Oktoberfest Marsen with the umlaut, right, beer that there is. I think they might have the best tasting one. This is an old brewery that got taken over by Paulaner, but the formula is a little different. It's not like they take the beer and just put it in the bottle. That's something they probably would do in America back in the day, but this might be the best of all the Oktoberfest beers, and most of the Oktoberfest beers are top-notch beers, to be frank. Fuller is the other kind of brewery that shows up a lot in America. They're from the other side of England than Samuel Smith. They're from London, or I believe just outside. No, they're in London. Look, Chiswick. I've never had this beer. I've never seen this beer, but the idea of a red autumn ale is something I would really. It looks like a beer I'd want to drink, especially autumn beers, which are red or brown in color. Maybe someday. This might be discontinued for all I know, but I just like the idea of Red Fox Autumn Ale. All right, now Guinness. Guinness, of course, is better on top, but the Foreign Extra Stout is always around and is an amazing beer. More carbonated, obviously, than the regular Guinness. Stored longer. Man, is a real treat. Yeah, you bet your butt. This is maybe the best beer they made. I remember they made that Antwerp Stout too, which had a link to World War II in some capacity, but stronger stouts from Guinness. Recommended, very recommended. Sam Adams Boston Lager. This was like the first real big breakout microbrew hit. I mean, Sam Adams is everywhere. I mean, they have breweries making the beer, not just in Boston. Obviously, there's the one outside of Allentown, right on Route 78. You can see it right off the interstate. I had a Sam Adams Boston Lager about a month ago when I was in Florida. I hadn't had one in a while, and it's still a top-notch beer. Okay, it drinks like an ale, but it's actually a Vienna lager, which is it's a good mix of kind of an ale type lager. Richer, darker. Always solid. Always recommended. Okay, this is my favorite pound for pound. Right, Bitte eine Bitte. My favorite Pilsner is Bitburger, which is interesting because Bitburger apparently is one of the more next to Dab, which didn't make it into the book, which I love. Bitburger is rather cheap. It's the cheaper ones of the Pilsners. I think it tastes better than Warsteiner. It's as good as Jever. I think this is it's a pretty strong, bitter taste to it, astringent. Very, very refreshing. But for some reason, it's one of the less expensive German beers. Well, who knows why? But yeah, Bitburger. One of my favorite go-tos. Here's another example of one we're talking about of the underrated British beer. They have many old beer styles, just like the Germans. Okay? It's not all just ale, or in terms, it's not all just like the kind of like the sort of bitters, the ale they call it. This Old Peculier, this was one of the best beers. This would be in my top 5 if I could find the damn thing. It doesn't seem to be available anymore in the United States. I can't even describe the taste of this beer, which they call an old ale, because they were brewing this thing back in the day. This damn beer is one of the top beers ever made, and I can't find it. So, right? It's dark old ale containing complex vinous, whatever, flavors, rich sweet malt, a touch of caramel, fine balancing hops, challenger, target, and fuggle, like the fuggles, that add a hint of black currant, right? This beer, anyway, I've waxed enough about it. This is one of the best beers I can never get anymore. Gunpowder night, bonfire night. I wish we had it in America so we could just have more fun in November after Halloween. But Harvey is not available in America. But bonfire, boy, supposedly it's a smoky beer too. I would really probably dig this beer. It'd be perfect for a cold night with a bonfire. But it's in East Sussex. But I will never get my hands on it. But it looks really cool. I really would like to maybe try this if somehow I find myself in East Sussex. Oh, they got Lewis. Look, we have a Lewis in Delaware, a Lewis or whatever. Along with Sam Adams, one of the original guys. The guys brewing back in like when disco was on the charts, when they were brewing beer in their like bathtub. The Sierra Nevada guys, California. Dude, they made so many good. There's beers that they don't make anymore, like their brown ale they used to make for autumn, and the porter. Amazing, but all the IPAs they made, they're friggin' they discontinued the Northern Hemisphere Harvest Hop Ale, which was one of the best. I've actually did a beer review on my channel for that. That was one of the best friggin' beers I've ever tasted in my damn life, and it's been discontinued. Or if it's not been discontinued, it's much less available. Yeah, look at that asshole. Anyway, sorry, I don't know what I got on that. Example of Sierra Nevada beer, their Celebration Ale, which is like their hop harvest ale. This is, I know IPAs are weird, man. I used to love IPAs when they came out. Then something happened to me. I don't know. I got sick of the hipster trademark beer, the IPA. But man, if the Celebration Ale is not a good go-to, man, I don't know how to describe it. This is probably one of the best. Like the other one I had mentioned, it's similar. It's a harvest ale of the hops, but like I said, you can't go wrong with that. I like that it's a Christmas beer that's just a super fresh beer from the hop harvest just months earlier. So Sierra Nevada again, with the Bigfoot barley wine is a great style of beer. Weyerbacher made it one of the early ones. Really good style. Barley wine, of course, was a stronger beer, almost trying to approach wine levels of alcohol. They became popular in England when, of course, in one of the many wars with the French, apparently they didn't have access to wine from France. Okay, you had to have smugglers and all that stuff, like that movie Night Creatures. But this is a really, once again, Sierra Nevada makes a really good barley wine themselves. Bigfoot. That's right. Bigfoot is my homie. Bigfoot lives. Bigfoot. You see you notice that you see those Bigfoot things everywhere now, because we're all rooting for Bigfoot. So, or King Kong or whatever. Anyway, this is a good. Anything from Sierra Nevada is recommended, and particularly the ones I showed you. Another old beer that from San Francisco, from the another early brewery that was making it in the 70s. I said Anchor Christmas Ale. Okay, it's funny. They always every year they make a different recipe. Okay, and they never say what it is. They never say what the ingredients are, but they change. You say they use all the different spices, but they change it. Yeah. So this is another good Christmas beer, spiced beer in the British tradition from America. This has probably been 2 videos with all the beers I've looked at. Of course, these aren't the only ones. There's ones in here too I would go to, but I don't want to make more than 2 videos on this stuff. Although I guess the subject matter is worth it. Okay, what you're looking at here, right? The Schneider Brewery. I had mentioned it earlier. This beer is one of my favorite beers. This is one of the best beers brewed in the world. Okay, Schneider Aventinus or Aventinus, which is mispronouncing it, but it sounds cooler. From Schneider Weiss. This beer actually was devised by the one female Schneider descendant who ran the brewery. I think in 1907, she made this. She came up with this idea of a wheat double bock, and I don't know how, like, they describe it here. The flavor of this, you have to let this warm up a little bit. I used to have this glass too. Of course, it broke. You need to let it warm up a little bit, not room temperature, okay, but a little warmer than what Americans are used to, okay, and you start to taste the flavors, the complex flavors of the double bock. Okay, usually double bocks, like Celebrator is another one I like, but this is a wheat double bock. And here, darkish chestnut brown color, white head, marzipan, bananas, raisin, lemon. Of course, these are tasting notes. They're not literally in the beer. Okay? Especially the Germans only use 4 ingredients. Okay, they have to follow the right Heiskapot. Right. Anyone who tastes Aventinus, find something different. Be it chocolate, figs, cloves, or prunes. This beer, I can't wax about it enough. And look, there's a brief mention here of Erdinger, this beer, their wheat double bock, which I can't find. I'd like to, since I'm a fan of their Weiss beers as well. But man, this thing, to round this out, this beer is absolutely amazing. Very pleasurable and available year round. Really good when it's cold out, but I'll drink this anytime, and you savor this beer. So, and also, one time I had 2 of these too quick to each other, and it wrecked me a little bit. And there was a place, a real anecdote. There was a place on South Street in Philly. There was a German spot that had this on top. Okay, there was also a place in downtown Brooklyn. I forgot what it was called. They had it on tap also. Those places, I don't even know if they still exist or not after all that's gone down. But getting this on tap, and both of the places served it in this glass. Amazing. I forgot the woman's name that did this. Good job, Fraulein. Oh, don't say Fraulein. They don't like that. You know me. I'm a man from another time. So, anyway, that wraps up this great book from the CAMRA people. A very good resource and a very good I figure I want to share this with you and some of my favorite beers. How decadent. Later.